Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speak Bold English. English is very easy, and today we're going to practice something you will need in so many conversations. Talking about yourself in English. Think about this. You meet someone for the first time. They smile and ask, "Tell me about yourself." What do you say? Maybe you know what you want to say, but suddenly you don't know where to start. You think about your name, then your work, then your hobbies, then your plans, and suddenly your mind feels completely empty. Don't worry. Today we're going to make this much easier. You don't need a long introduction. You don't need difficult vocabulary. And you definitely don't need to memorize a complicated speech. You simply need a few useful ideas and the confidence to connect them. So in this lesson, we're going to learn how to introduce yourself, how to talk about your daily life, how to describe your interests, how to talk about your personality, and how to keep the conversation going. Before we begin, subscribe to Speak Bold English. And like this video, let's start. 1. Start with a simple introduction. When someone asks, "Tell me about yourself," don't panic. Start with the basics. Your name, where you're from, what you do, and something simple about your current life. For example, "My name is Daniel. I'm from Canada. I work in customer service. These days, I'm also learning photography." That's already a good introduction. It's short, it's clear, and it gives the other person several things to ask about. They might ask, "How long have you been learning photography?" Or, "What do you like about it?" Now the conversation can continue. Let's create another example. "My name is Sophia. I live in a small town. I work at a local bookstore. In my free time, I enjoy trying new recipes." Notice, we're not trying to sound impressive. We're simply giving real information. That's the key. When you talk about yourself, think about your real life. Your English becomes easier. When you're talking about things you already know, to talk about where you are from. Another common question is, "Where are you from?" You can answer, "I'm from Turkey," or "I grew up in a small town," or "I was born in a busy city, but I live somewhere quieter now." You can also add one extra detail. For example, "I grew up near the coast. I really enjoyed living there because I was always close to the sea." Or, "I grew up in a small town. It was quiet, and most people knew each other." This extra information makes your answer more natural. Instead of giving only one sentence, you're giving the other person something to respond to. Now, try this yourself. "Where are you from?" Answer in English. Don't worry about making it perfect. Just give 2 or 3 sentences. 3. Talk about what you do. Now let's talk about one of the most common questions. People ask, "What do you do?" This question can mean, "What is your job?" Or, "What do you normally do?" If you're working, you can say, "I work in a hotel." "I work for a small company." "I'm a graphic designer." "I manage a local shop." But if you're a student, you can say, "I'm a university student." "I'm studying business." "I'm currently studying computer science." You can also add what you enjoy about it. For example, "I'm studying business. I enjoy learning about marketing because I like understanding how companies connect with people." Again, simple English, real information, natural conversation. And if you're not working, that's completely fine. You can talk about what you're currently doing. For example, I'm taking an online course. I'm learning a new skill. I'm looking for new opportunities. I'm spending more time working on personal projects. Your introduction doesn't have to fit one specific formula. It simply needs to describe your real life. 4. Talk about your daily life. Now, let's make your introduction a little more interesting. Talk about your normal day. You can say, "My days are usually quite busy. I start my morning early. I spend most of the day studying. In the evening, I usually relax at home, or my schedule changes a lot. Some days are busy, and some days are much quieter." These sentences help people understand what your life is like. You can also mention something you enjoy. For example, "I usually have a busy morning, but I like having a quiet evening. That's when I read or listen to music." Notice how natural that sounds. You're not giving a formal speech. You're simply talking about yourself. 5. Talk about your interests. Now let's talk about your interests. Someone might ask, "What do you like doing?" This is your chance to talk about things you genuinely enjoy. Maybe you like cooking. Maybe you enjoy sports. Maybe you like traveling. Maybe you enjoy photography. Maybe you love learning new skills. Don't just say, "I like music." Try adding a reason. "I enjoy listening to music because it helps me relax." Or, "I like taking pictures, especially when I'm traveling." Or, "I enjoy cooking because I like trying different flavors." That extra detail makes your answer much more conversational. Here's another useful idea. Talk about something you recently started enjoying. For example, "Recently, I've become interested in gardening. I've started watching more documentaries. I've been trying to learn how to draw." This gives your conversation a fresh direction, and the other person can easily ask you more questions. 6. Talk about your personality. Sometimes people want to know what kind of person you are. You don't need difficult vocabulary. Use simple descriptions. You can say, "I'm a pretty quiet person. I'm usually very curious. I enjoy meeting new people. I'm a little shy at first. I like planning things ahead. I'm quite flexible, and I don't mind changing my plans." You can also explain your personality with an example. For example, "I'm usually quiet when I meet someone, but once I feel comfortable, I talk much more." That's much more natural than simply saying, "I'm friendly." You're giving a little piece of your personality, and that's what makes a conversation feel real. 7. Talk about something you are learning. Here's a great topic, especially when you're introducing yourself. Talk about something you're learning. You can say, "I'm currently learning Spanish. I'm trying to improve my cooking. I'm learning how to edit videos. I'm practicing my public speaking." Then explain why. For example, "I'm learning video editing because I want to create better content." Or, "I'm learning Spanish because I'd like to travel and communicate with more people." This type of answer shows your interests and your goals. At the same time, it also gives the other person an easy question to ask next. 8. Talk about your goals. Finally, you can talk about something you want to achieve in the future. Keep it simple. "I want to become better at my work. I'd like to travel more. I want to learn another language. I'm hoping to start a new project soon." You can also explain why that goal matters to you. For example, "I'd like to travel more because I want to experience different cultures. Or I want to improve my communication skills because I want to feel more confident at work. This makes your introduction more personal. And remember, you don't need to tell someone everything about yourself. Choose a few things that represent your life, your name, your background, what you do, your interests, your personality, something you're learning, and a goal. That's enough to start a real conversation. In part 2, we're going to practice how to answer common questions about yourself without giving boring, one-word answers. And you'll learn how to turn simple answers into natural conversations. We learned how to introduce yourself, talk about where you're from, what you do, your interests, your personality, and your goals. But there's one important thing. Talking about yourself is not only about giving information, it's also about keeping the conversation alive. Because imagine someone asks you, "What do you do?" And you simply say, "I'm a student." The conversation can stop there. But if you say, "I'm a student, I'm studying graphic design, and I'm really enjoying the creative side of it," now, the other person has something they can ask about. So in this part, let's learn how to make your answers more natural. 9. Don't give one-word answers. One of the easiest ways to improve your conversations is to stop giving very short answers. Someone asks, "Do you enjoy your work?" Don't simply say, "Yes." Try, "Yes, I do. I like the people I work with, and I enjoy solving different problems." Someone asks, "Do you like traveling?" Instead of, "Yes," you could say, "Yes, I really enjoy it. I like visiting new places and trying local food." See the difference? The answer is still simple, but now it sounds like a conversation. A useful rule is answer plus one detail. That's enough. You don't need a long speech. Just give the person one more piece of information. Pause. Let's practice. What do you like doing in your free time? Don't answer with one word. Give your answer and add one detail. Good. Now, let's continue. 10. Talk about your favorites. Another easy way to talk about yourself is to mention things you enjoy. You can talk about food, movies, books, sports, places, music, or even your favorite way to spend a quiet evening. For example, I really enjoy documentaries. I like learning about interesting people and places. Or, I love trying different foods. I usually choose something new when I visit a restaurant. Notice, you're not trying to use difficult English. You're simply sharing your preferences. And that's perfect for conversation practice. Now imagine someone asks, "What's your favorite way to relax?" You could say, "I like going for a walk because it helps me clear my mind." Or, "I usually stay home and watch something interesting." Simple, natural. 11. Talk about your weekends. Weekends are another easy conversation topic. Someone might ask, "What do you usually do on weekends?" You can answer, "My weekends are usually quiet. I catch up on things and spend time with my family." Or, "I like going out and meeting my friends. Sometimes we find a new place to visit." You can also talk about what you did recently. "Last weekend, I visited a new cafe. The place was small, but the atmosphere was really nice." Now, you're not just talking about yourself. You're telling a little story. And stories Make conversations much easier. 12. Talk about your daily habits. Another great topic is your routine. But don't try to describe your entire day. Choose a few habits that say something about you. For example, I like starting my morning with a quiet cup of tea. I usually make a short plan. Before I begin my work, in the evening, I try to stay away from my phone for a while. These small details make your English sound more personal. Someone can easily respond, "That's a good habit." Or, "Why do you do that?" And now, you have another conversation. Pause. Try this question. What's one habit you have every day? Think about your answer and say it in English. Excellent. 13. Talk about something you enjoy learning. People often connect through shared interests, so talking about something you're learning can be very useful. Maybe you're learning how to cook. Maybe you're learning photography. Maybe you're learning a new language. Maybe you're learning a technical skill. You can say, "I've recently started learning how to play the guitar. It's challenging, but I'm enjoying the process." Or, "I'm learning more about photography. I like experimenting with different types of pictures." Then, you can ask the other person, "What are you learning these days?" And suddenly, the conversation becomes two-sided. That's an important skill. Don't only talk about yourself. Give the other person a chance to talk, too. 14. Ask questions back. Here's one of the biggest secrets to a good conversation. Don't just answer. Ask something back. Someone says, "I work at a hospital." You can say, "Oh, that's interesting. What kind of work do you do there?" Someone says, "I love hiking." You can say, "That sounds fun. Where do you usually go hiking?" Someone says, "I'm learning Italian." You can ask, "What made you decide to learn Italian?" These questions show interest, and they keep the conversation moving. You can remember a very simple pattern. Answer, add a detail, ask a question. For example, "I enjoy cooking. I usually try new recipes. On Sunday evenings, what do you like cooking?" That's it. You have a complete conversation pattern. 15. Talk about your future plans. Another natural topic is the future. Someone might ask, "What are your plans for the next few months?" You can say, "I'm hoping to improve my professional skills. I'd also like to travel if I get the chance." Or, "I'm planning to spend more time on a personal project." You don't need to know exactly what your future looks like. You can simply talk about what you're hoping to do. For example, "I'm not completely sure yet, but I'd like to explore a few new opportunities." That's natural English. 16. Practice A. Complete introduction. Now, let's put everything together. Imagine you've just met someone. They say, "Hi, nice to meet you. Tell me a little about yourself." Don't panic. Start naturally. For example, "Hi, nice to meet you too. I'm Olivia. I live in a busy city, and I work in digital marketing. Outside of work, I enjoy photography and cooking. Recently, I've been trying to improve my communication skills. I usually spend my weekends with friends or family, and one of my goals is to travel more in the future." That's a complete introduction. It's not too long, it's not too short. And most importantly, it sounds like a real person talking about real life. Now it's your turn. Introduce yourself in English. Start with your name, then where you live, what you do, something you enjoy, something you're learning, and one future goal. Take your time. Good job. 17. Don't memorize. A perfect script. One final thing. Don't memorize. One introduction. And repeat it. Exactly the same way. Every time. Instead, remember the ideas. Name, background. Work or studies, interests. Daily life, goals. Then, change your answers, depending on the person and the situation. If you're speaking with a new friend, your answer can be relaxed. If you're speaking in a professional situation, you can focus more on your work and skills. The important thing is flexibility. You should be able to talk about yourself without feeling like you're reciting a speech. Now let's make everything simple. When someone says, "Tell me about yourself," don't try to give a long, perfect answer. Just remember a simple flow. Your name, where you're from, what you do, what you enjoy, and one thing about your future. That's enough. For example, "Hi, I'm Mia. I live in a small city. I'm studying business. I enjoy photography and spending time outdoors, and I'm hoping to travel more next year." Simple, natural, and easy to continue. Practice your own introduction. Now it's your turn. Imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. Start with, "Hi, nice to meet you." Then tell them who you are, what you do, what you enjoy, and something you're working toward. Don't memorize the example. Create your own. Now, say it one more time, but this time, try to sound more natural. Don't worry about mistakes. Just keep speaking. Great job. One important tip. Remember, talking about yourself is not about sounding perfect. It's about communicating who you are. Use simple English. Give a little detail. And ask the other person a question, too. For example, "I enjoy cooking. I usually try new recipes on weekends. What do you like doing?" Now you've answered and continued the conversation. That's real English speaking. Final message. So, the next time someone asks, "Tell me about yourself," don't freeze. Don't translate everything. And don't search for difficult words. Start simple. Speak about your real life and let the conversation grow naturally. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. If this lesson helped you, like this video, share it with someone who is learning English, and subscribe to Speak Bold English for more practical English speaking practice. Keep learning, keep speaking, keep improving, and I'll see you in the next video.